And we are live. Welcome to Give Voice to Your Vision, where we stop the spinning wheel and we get real, so it is clarity you feel. Today, we have an amazing guest with us today. I am so excited to introduce you, if you don't already know, the amazing Marcy Nelson Garrison, who has done many amazing things. But Marcy is a master of creativity, and we are talking about the power of card decks to expand your visibility, credibility, profitability in the world, your impact and your income. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Marcy, and then we have an incredible training in store for you, inspirational training in store for you. And Marcy's going to kick us off with some actual card deck experience. Yay. Marcy is the founder of Coaching Toys Incorporated, a true Renaissance soul from her work as a product mentor, certified professional coactive coach. I kind of want to know what that is. Master level licensed psychologist emeritus, to being a product review columnist for Choice Magazine. Marcy's always been a strong advocate for creative and innovative processes, and she believes that creating a product reflects your gifts and your wisdom is an act of leadership. You guys can see why she and I are so aligned, and it's an excellent way to facilitate transformation and reach more people. And she is an incredible creator and helps other people to create and monetize card decks. Welcome.
Thank you,
Marcy.
Card decks are like one of my all-time favorite types of products to create.
Why?
So many reasons why, and I know we're going to get into those.
We sure are.
But I think we should draw a card first, right?
I love it. I almost got out my drawer. I don't have my own card deck yet.
Well,
I got to get on that. It is definitely on my list. But I have two drawers in this. I don't know if you can see this little, that little dresser right there, that little cabinet of card decks. I've been using cards for years in so many ways. So I'm thrilled to have you with us.
You know what Julia Cameron used to say about people who collected art and loved art but didn't do it? They were shadow artists.
Yeah. And I think I probably got my first card deck when I started doing and facilitating the Artist Way in 1996.
There you go.
We are aligned. Great. Tell us about this deck.
Let's start. This is a deck called the Enchanted Map.
There you are. Yay.
And it's by Colette Baron Reid, who's actually created tons of card decks.
Who?
Colette Baron Reid.
Oh, great. Yeah. I've heard of her.
And this one is just so, I'll just show you. These are just so beautifully illustrated.
Oh, yeah.
So here's one of the ways I do this. I'm going to let you choose the card.
Okay, great.
I am going to put it into I'm going to cut it into 3 piles.
Okay. It's like the shell game.
Yes. Here's the one on my left.
Okay.
This is the one in the middle. It got skinny. And this is the one on the right. It's kind of skinny too. So first, pick which pile.
The third pile. I don't remember if it was right or left.
The last one I showed.
Yes, the last one.
Great. Give me a number. It's not too fat of a deck. So
4.
4. 1, 2, 3. Number 4.
Ooh, is that a lighthouse?
I think I'm backwards. There we go.
No, you're not. Solitude.
Isn't that gorgeous? So let's see what the message is. What number was that? Okay. There's a little poem thing in the beginning, and then it has a little bit of a description for you. So I am comfortable in my own skin as I detach to replenish my soul. That would be perfect.
It's brilliant. So you want to know if that's a message for me? Yeah, so it is for sure. And I was just talking about it with my Dare to Soar experience, one of the clients in there. And being comfortable in our own skin is what allows us to expand our visibility. right? So really being able to deeply trust ourselves and let ourselves be exactly where we are, who we are, when we are, and fully share our message and self-express. It's the most pivotal transformational piece. So trusting yourself.
And I think it's also, I mean, I don't think I need to read more. There's a lot more. That feels like the core message.
Yeah.
That to be comfortable in your skin and to replenish your soul, those two pieces.
I mean, that's like a recipe for life.
That's a recipe for life. And so just imagine, and all of you listening, as well as you, Michelle, if that was your card deck and your client just pulled that card, and how that message that's core to the work you do, just came right into their soul.
Yeah.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
It's so huge. And there's so many ways that you can use that impact. I know. And okay, Marcy, I'm going to have to make my card deck now. I'm on the spot. I'm in front of the world. It's happening. The potency of taking, one of the things we struggle with in marketing and messaging, our visibility is what do we talk about? Mm-hmm. Right? And so the power of that one image, one thought, one idea that allowed me to have that experience cannot be overstated. Exactly. It breaks it into this nugget that I can sift and sort and have an immediate connection to. I already got value from this 3-minute exercise, not even 2-minute exercise. Super powerful, super powerful. And one of the things we struggle with too, I think, is sharing, oversharing, right? Trying to give them everything, the whole transformation in the first conversation, right?
Everything you would do with them in 6 months of coaching, you're going to put in that.
Sure, I'll do it on the sales call. It is my own experience, no judgment.
There's actually something, I mean, when you write a book, you can pour all that. You can pour everything you want into it. But when you're doing a card deck, it's really, really important to just get crystal clear on those little nuggets that are going to make a difference.
Yeah.
For your clients. And what I've noticed when people are doing this process is they actually get a lot clearer about their work.
For sure.
Because when you have to drill down to like, what's the most important thing they need in this moment?
Yeah.
Not give them 20-minute moments worth of moment.
I mean, it's 20-minute moment, the 20-minute moment. I might have to do a live on that one now, the 20-minute moment. Yes. Awesome. You were saying?
So it's actually, if you want to write a book, it's a good precursor. It can work either way if you have a book. Sure. You can go to a card deck or the other way around. But no matter what you want to create in your business, that process of coming up with those nuggets and those bite-size interventions or supportive things can be hugely impactful for your client, but also for you.
Really powerful for clarity because, I help so many people with content creation. And one of the things that we work toward is, I really don't have to create any new content, right? Like at this point, I've been highly visible for about 6 years online. I've been living my message for 15 years. And yes, that started with a 5. And, I don't need to create anything new. And a lot of times we think that we need to create something new in order to make it work better. And having this distilled, it's endless content creation. It's endless focus because how many cards do we put in a normal deck?
I'd say a normal deck is around 54.
Switch those numbers.
There are decks that are 72. There are decks that are smaller, but I think an average is 54.
And so like 54 crystal clear kernels, I'm alliterating today, I think, crystal clear kernels of your message, of your wisdom, knowledge, approach, methodology distilled. I'm selling myself here, Marcy, on this thing. I'm like, wait a minute. And especially if you have been doing this for a little while, you probably are sitting on a treasure trove of card deck. right?
Yeah,
If you've been developing your message, you could have already, all the best nuggets could pop up for you in that process, maybe.
Mhm.
Um,
I think one thing that's helpful when people start, because I can see your mind working already, is two things, and I did touch on these in the challenge I've been doing. But one is to decide what type of card deck you want to create, because there are multiple types of card decks, and that can really determine the kind of content you develop.
yeah.
So whether I know you talked about your groups being about impact and deep transformation and guidance.
Yeah.
Probably be more of a wisdom deck or an inspiration deck.
Yeah.
You can also create decks that are just prompts that just shift someone's thinking. You can do card decks that are exploratory or assessment based. You can do card decks that are teaching. So it really can be adapted to any kind of niche. And then the other
Now I need 2 card decks at least.
maybe 2 suits, who knows? The other thing that's important along with that type of card deck is where in your client's storyline you want to come in.
Ooh, that's like a ninja strategy you just went into.
Yeah.
You took us to another whole level of conversation. If you're just joining us, if you're watching live and you let StreamYard know that you're here, we'll be able to see you. We do want your comments. We'll make sure to come back and post. We're on YouTube, we're on my page, and we're in the group. So ask your questions. I'm going to be hopping around trying to answer them live. But we just took this conversation to another whole level of strategy. So tell us more
about the client's storyline.
Yeah. For your whole business, where do you come in? Like, that's an up-level question right there, because we're like, I just got to get some clients and get my work out there, right? I just got to get some clients and get my work. But like, where is your best, highest level, highest value service meeting your client's journey, right? You're not going to be the person that's on the whole journey forever necessarily with your client. So tell us more about what do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, first of all, there's the meta journey storyline that you're talking about, where you come into one point, but in the piece you do, there is also a storyline.
Yes.
Because your clients come in at a beginning place with you.
For sure.
And they're going to transition through the middle.
Hopefully, if you're a results-based coach.
Yeah. They've really integrated what it is the work you've done with them.
Oh my God, there's so much possibility.
Really tuning in to where would it be most useful. Whether at the beginning where they just need a lot of support to get going, in the middle where they're facing all the obstacles and plateaus and challenges and ahas and perspective shifting, you can work there. Or the end when they complete with you, how do you help them maintain what they've learned from you? So it's really tuning into the place that excites you the most.
First, because then now I need 3 cards.
No, you don't. You need one.
But I want, right? I want because like that's super powerful as a way for people to get a feel for you, get a feel for the possibility, be at the beginning. And that's going to be an incredible tool to leverage your visibility. If you have this tool, people also buy card decks. So it's not just free, right? Yes. Or in the middle to help them keep going, nurture, inspire, whatever that is. And then like, here's what you know now. Here's a reminder. So, wow, you're really good at this. I wanted to hop back into my questions. That was awesome strategy. I think we've already touched on, how can we use a card deck? If you want to speak a little bit about how do we use a card deck specifically, I know that there's probably 50 million ways, even if you just rattle some of the ways that a card deck specifically can help us to grow our visibility, since that's what we talk about so much here in this world.
Mm-hmm. I think because they're often visual. I mean, not all card decks are.
I have a couple that are not. I have a card deck from Brian Eno. It is black with just really small typed, like single words or very short questions. It's a completely bizarre card deck.
But the card makes a great social media post.
Yeah.
just by that. I mentioned the card we got from Colette Baron Reed. She's done a ton of card decks. She created a whole community around her when she first started with her card decks. And she would pull them out. She would do readings. And she's got this huge, huge following now around her card decks. And everyone who signs up buys all of her card decks. So
that's awesome.
Community builder.
Yeah.
Great for Instagram and Pinterest.
For sure.
The visual social media things. And then, one of the things that's cool, a friend told me about this. She works with people around health and body image, and she would do a podcast by someone else around that same topic. And the person who ran the podcast had a card deck about body image topics and had my friend draw a card, and that's how they kicked off the podcast, which is not unlike what we just did.
Yeah.
But that's a way you can use it too, to just really engage people, whether you're leading a podcast or in a group. It can be a topic for conversation. It could be a topic for a Facebook Live.
That's what I love to use cards for. I'm inclined to go get a card, but when in doubt, so one of the things with social visibility on social media is consistency. Consistency is pretty much the most powerful thing you can do, whether it's good enough or not, whether you did your hair and makeup, whether the camera's sideways or blurry or there's no sound. Just the algorithm loves the consistency. So we don't know what to talk about. And one of your, I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure, past clients and someone who I had the privilege to coach for a while in Alina Vincent's mastermind, Renee Gregoire, has, hers is the one I know about is a blog card deck, right? Just that simple, that would be the prompt style. And that's a Facebook Live a day, right?
Yes, and combinations with hers.
For sure.
To trigger something. So
that's great too. I didn't even think of that. And you know what?
Extends the life.
And you can do them over and over again, because if you're not, I advocate not scripting. There are certain elements that I say we want to have to get engagement and to actually lead people to invest in themselves and work with you. So there's some strategy to it, but scripting usually kind of crushes the life out of it and gets us in our head, and we try and get it perfect. But, so you have a card deck of 54 cards. I inverted the number with you, 54 cards, say. And so that's, that's a year if you did one live a week, right? I would encourage you to do more, but if you did one live a week and you draw the same card or a different card, the next year, you're going to have a totally different conversation. It's going to lead to totally different things. So it's really endless content creation. One card deck could be, there's some strategies that we use to lead people to specific offers at specific times. But once you know what those are, if you use that prompt, it's going to be a new conversation. You're different. Your audience has evolved. Everything's changing. You're going to come to that prompt in a new way. So it's a way to have it be your message, but very much in the moment, spontaneous, engaged, super powerful. I'm going to skip that question. I want to jump into it feels a little bit like you said, the images. Like, how do I even know kind of where to start? How long does it take? Like, can you share a little bit of this like nitty gritty? Because all of a sudden I'm like, I want that finished pretty box with the shiny top and have it to be all done. That's the kind of entrepreneur I am. And I could easily say, same thing we say when we're writing a book. Oh, I got to write my book, but it's going to take forever. And I have to carve out hours every week for a year. And it's going to be this big thing. So can you give us just like a sketch of like, is there a faster way to do it? What are some of the things? Like, I'm not a graphic artist. So how does all that work? Or however much we have time for.
I know. It's going to vary so much from deck to deck. Like if you do a deck, like the little angel cards, and that's all there is to it.
I love those.
You can do that kind of a deck really fast.
I sent all those to my JV partners.
I know. I love little angel cards.
Yeah. I picked ones that felt like they were right for you. I'm glad you showed me those because I was just about to send out some new cards and love. So I'm going to get me another angel deck.
No. And then if you did something more like this, it's got a guidebook with it. There's a little more in-depth writing. But the one thing to remember, I think, create the deck you're really called to create first.
Great.
And not worry too much about the details of how to turn it into something that goes to print in the beginning.
Cool.
Because people don't stay with the creative process long enough.
Tell me more about that.
They get all tied up in the, what's it going to cost? How big should it be? What size? Don't go there right away because it stops the creative process.
Right. Getting into the nitty gritty stops the creative process. So think more about the flow of it and staying in the feeling of how fun and cool it'll be and rolling with the inspiration.
And you're going to play with prototypes. You're going to go looking around at different designs to see, well, what kind of look do I like? What would go with this deck? And you're just going to be playing around with a lot of that stuff. When you get to the point of really going, okay, I like this sort of style, I'm going to go talk to an illustrator to give me some samples. Or talk to a designer to potential spam call here. Go away. Then you'll talk to a designer to give you some ideas. So you don't have to do those pieces yourself, but you do have to kind of get a feel for what you want.
So how you want it to look.
So you can give some guidance to someone.
Yeah.
My rule of thumb is don't over guide your designer because you will squeeze their creativity as well.
Nice.
And end up with something better if you kind of give them a general direction and some samples of things you like and let them run with it. But it goes in steps. You got to kind of nail the content and the outcome, the process you want people to use, some of those details first.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what do we really need to get started with our card deck? And you have a class coming up too, I want to remember to tell people about. So let's answer that question. And then we'll tell people about how they can learn some more from you. So is that what your challenge is about?
The challenge is about coming up with an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is the first place to start. You gotta start somewhere. Like, who do I want to serve? Where in their storyline? What type of deck? What kind of creative flair do I want to bring to it?
And is that part of the process? I know that you help people do this. So is that part of the process that you're able to help people do, is like deciding what type of deck and going through that and without that constricting detail?
Right. The challenge walks people through some incredibly fun, creative exercises to do that.
Cool. Well, we are going to, if anybody here is watching right now and you're like, the challenge, I want you to comment below the video wherever you're watching it. And we'll come back and I will connect with Marcy and find out how to get you access to that challenge. I think it's available free for a few more days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is speaking to your heart and you want to jump in on that, you're just going to say, yes, I want to know about the challenge. And we're going to come and find you and I will messenger you that information for sure. But I'm looking at this. You're going to share some more of the insider secrets to creating a best-selling card deck, I think.
Right. Because you know what? As fun as it is, there are some mistakes that can really kill your success.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to go through in a training. I'm going to really share what those big mistakes are that you absolutely need to avoid.
So we can avoid those and not end up spending a bunch of time and money.
Last thing you want is a whole garage full of card decks.
I used to be, I still am a singer-songwriter, but I had a couple of EPs that I made 20 years ago before there was digital media. And down in my basement, I have 3 or 4 cases of those CDs. So I know exactly what you're talking about Bill. And even in any kind of product creation, since you're a master, we want to flesh it out and test it and share it before we invest in have a bunch of concrete, tangible, whether it's a digital course, a card deck. So that's a brilliant little tip we already got.
You can do card decks print on demand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't have margin to speak of, but it's a great way to test it out before
Tell
you.
us what margin means.
Margin is what it costs you to produce it versus what you charge at the retail level.
Yeah.
That difference, that's your margin. Yeah. So with print on demand, you don't have very much. It'll be really expensive to print
just a couple card decks.
Just a couple at a time.
So but it might be worth it to see it, get the feel for it. And yeah. Well, that's a great tip. Thank you for sharing that little insider secret already. So class is coming up, I think in a few days, right? I'm going to grab a link that we created.
Saturday. Saturday is the first one.
Yay. So that, you know, Marcy, I created that link and then maybe I put it in the comments. I'm not being a good host right now.
The link for that, I think you stuck in this little.
I did in our little private chat. Somebody asks a question. I can't see who it is, but I see. I thought the deck comes to us. Can you say more? I'm not sure what you mean by that. And I can't tell who you are because StreamYard is not telling me unless you let it. I'm going to post this link right now in the StreamYard. This is for Marcy's class that's coming up next week. It's posted twice for you. Oh, posted in every place. We're using new tools, learning new things. That's posted under our YouTube video as well as the business page. I'll come back and put it in the group if you're watching us from there. Do you have any hit on what that question is? I thought the deck comes to us. That could be like, yes, it comes through your own inspiration. It could be, yes, it comes to you in the mail.
Well, I think allowing intuition to guide you is important, but you need to bring right brain and left brain together. You need to be creative, guided, intuitive, and strategic. Otherwise, you don't really know if it's going to end up in your basement.
In that box in the basement. You're just rubbing it in right now, all those CDs. I should start giving those away.
My I'm going on my 4th printing for my deck.
Nice.
So it's done well.
And tell me, just give us again some examples of how you leverage that. Is it available on a website? Where do you sell these card decks? How does that work?
There are some really cool ways to leverage your card deck to have it be more profitable than just selling it. I mean, you can just sell it. That's good. But you can sell it at conferences, back of the room if you speak, which a lot of your audience probably speaks.
Yep.
You can engage your audience. Someday we're going to get to speak in person again.
It's really coming. It's really going to happen.
Put a card on everybody's chair in the audience and have them engage with it. You can't do that with a book.
You can't do that with pick page 32 yes. And just close your eyes and point.
So conferences, bookstores, Amazon, through my store, on your website, a lot of places to sell it. But where you can really start to make money is to use it to bundle with other offers. So if you say you have a card deck and you have a journal and you have a coaching program, and there are people out there looking for a coach on your topic and they're looking at several others, but you're the only one with the card deck and the book and the package, you're going to look like the expert. You're going to blow everyone else out of the water.
Right. And they can get the card deck and be like, oh my God, this is me. This is me. I love this. I love this. I'm signing up.
Yeah. And you can charge more than each individual piece together because the perceived value is higher because you got this really cool package.
Yeah.
So that
some of those,
of course, you can do lots of
so things. Good. And I just got an idea for my 3rd card deck, not my 1st, because that's how my brain works.
For a while.
Right. But like, what if the alumni from my Dare to Soar, like the alumni people are the only ones who get the 3rd deck that is to help them carry on, right? There's a little exclusivity, right? Nice. I love talking with you. Do we have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, we have a couple.
Well, I just want to talk about the creative process because it's such your wheelhouse. And we can talk about how card decks come into that. We've already touched on it a little bit. So as it relates to card decks, from Mike, I don't know if I have a question, but I just want to talk about this with you. As it relates to me, like the creating of the card deck is a creative process. So for me, creative, your business is a creative act. That's one of my taglines. Your business is a creative act. Your self-expression is an act of creation. Your imagination is an act of creation. Everything that exists started as a thought.
Right.
And how do we weave that into not only into the fiber of our business? Since we're talking transformation and impact here, I think it's when we start to weave those two things that we start to become empowered as business owners.
Right.
So card decks, the creative process in all of your marketing, and activating that or leading from that intuitive creative process. So maybe you can talk about, I'm getting to my question, I'm trying to figure out what it is, like that where you said earlier, where the creative process meets the right brain strategy. So I just want to hear you talk about that. What comes up for you?
Well, first of all, creativity requires a couple of things. It requires permission because you have to give yourself permission to have it be messy, because creativity doesn't always come out as a finished thing. It's like all over the place.
Preach.
Right. And the other thing is, I really believe creativity requires stimulus. You can't just like sit in your room and go, okay, muse. You have to set that up to tap into the muse consciously. It doesn't.
I love this. So another thing, this is why it needed to come up. It's a practice, right? Creativity and imagination and inspiration is a practice. And I talk here a lot about visibility is a spiritual practice to me. Right. Being seen, being heard allows that, requires that permission, requires courage. Courage doesn't happen once you don't get courage and then do, right? And so there's that practice of showing up from that place, in that value, in that, for us, we talk the practice of being visible, right? I'm going to do the thing that's uncomfortable and I'm going to make impact. And the highest expression of my creativity is my business, I believe. And that self-expression is income and profitability and real impact because you're helping people. So do you have any do you have a process in your day that is a go-to for you, or things that you share to clients, maybe a couple of tips of just like, what would a creativity practice, what could that look like?
You're inviting me to create a card deck, aren't you?
I knew, well, we get together and the creativity flows for sure.
I conceive of it. I have something called the circles of stimulus.
Ooh.
And they're like
that because it also sounds like stimulus and cash flow to me.
Well, yeah, creativity and innovation can lead to cash flow.
They're required, I think.
Circle is really looking close to home. So you can go through things you've already written. You can go through the books on your shelf. You can think about a conversation you had with a client. Those are all things that are close to home that can stimulate some thinking.
Yeah.
The next layer out is called the cognitive mall.
Whoa.
But those are very concrete, language-oriented tools that creativity people use when they go into corporations. Like word choice and scamper and things like that. And then the outermost ring is what I call the cosmic soup, which is one of the places I like to play the most.
Me too. I'm like, sign me up for the soup.
That really is just tapping into intuition and synchronicity and inner guidance. So in terms of a practice, I think anytime you sit down, invite some and are working on something, you need a problem for creativity to tackle. And then you just invite in some stimulus. It could be drawing a card from a favorite deck. And how does this relate to what I'm working on?
Yeah.
Or, you could go for a walk and just hold the question, how does this
Yeah.
relate to what I'm working on? There's just a
I love that.
ways to tap into. You could use Scamper. You could just use one piece of Scamper.
Scamp.
Well, S is like substitute. So if you're thinking about, okay, card deck, what could I substitute? And look at all the different parts. What could I substitute for typical packaging? What could I substitute for the size? What could I substitute for the material? I mean, it's just a way to play.
Just keep playing.
The new ideas come when you put two things together that haven't been put together before. And that's where, boom, that's where something new has a chance to emerge.
I love that.
One really important thing that your people are going to love that I heard from a publicist, a New York publicist years ago, is that it only needs to be 10% original to be perceived as fresh and new.
Oh, that's so good. That's such a huge visibility limiter.
Yes.
Somebody else already said it. Somebody else said it better. Why can I, for me, like, why would anyone listen to me talk about vulnerability when Brene Brown's already said it better and faster and sooner, right? That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And, the other thing that I love about your approach is the high priority of cosmic soup and intuition. And I think that's a muscle that we flex.
Right.
That's a muscle. And I teach people that too, in terms of listening to that nudge. Doesn't make sense. I had a really yummy experience of that this week. I had this nudge to go out and see the flowers that I planted. And I get up here in my little tower in my desk and I'm working and I'm in the zone. I'm not going to do that. But I've been really focusing on the creative self-care to listen and hear that nudge. And I was like, I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to run out and see my flower garden. And so I pop out there, and I told this whole story on my personal profile if you want to see the whole long version. But and I was standing in my budding backyard with my cute little pots all around me, all designed for hummingbirds, by the way. Okay. And this hummingbird in that 3-minute window where I went outside flies right up to me. This fat, golden, emerald, juicy. I felt his wings moved my hair. He buzzed that, like it vibrated my teeth. It was such a magical moment because I allowed that nudge, because I was tuned in enough to allow the nudge, hear the nudge, follow the nudge, stop working and follow the nudge. And then I immediately had a conversation with my mentor and mastermind colleagues. And then I immediately the next day turned that into marketing. Right? So when you have that creative, you're willing to have that room to play and follow that nudge and weave that into your marketing, which the card decks is such a tangible, palpable way to amplify the creative voice, your own creative voice, in all your marketing. It gets really good. That's when I'm always saying your marketing can feel as good as this work that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Sharing your message, singing your song is your marketing. So we're going to come to class, right? We're going to come to class, and I'm going to make sure this link posts everywhere. If you haven't, sign up for Marcy's class. The first one is on Saturday. It sounds like we have a couple of opportunities, but don't wait. Jump in early. If you want to,
it's a free class.
Yeah.
One Saturday and one on Monday.
Oh, great. So you have 2 chances, but go Saturday, then you can double dip. And I posted the link. It's a masterclass. And if you're feeling like this is really speaking to your heart and you want to find out how to get into the challenge while it's still available for free and really start getting your idea together, just private message me or post in any of these comments. I'll be checking back throughout the day and tomorrow to make sure you get a link to access that training as well. Marcy, I love playing with you. Thanks for coming into my sandbox.
Thanks for having me.
I love your creative genius, and I will get to work creating time and space for my own card decks. And I wouldn't do it without your help. You know that. So anything else that you want to say about class, card decks, why you do what you do. Any last inspirational ideas for folks who are watching now or on the replay?
I think, I have people create a lot of different types of products, but the bottom line is that anytime you can use creativity to transform lives, that's really what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's the impact and it's the changing the world that can happen. I was at a conference with, it was the Coaching Toys booth, so I had a bunch of card decks there, and I had one that was called Manifest Your Magnificence for Kids. It was affirmations for kids. Yeah. And there was a mom, you can't tell someone's a mom, but a woman at the conference bought two decks. And I asked her, how are you going to use these? And she said, I am going to put one in my kid's lunchbox, each of my kids' lunchbox every day. Doesn't just make your heart go, I want her as a mom. Right. But that's the kind of ripple impact your card deck can have.
You're reminding me, it's so powerful. You're reminding me it's accessible, it's bite-sized, it's immediate, it's interactive, it's visceral. You're reminding me, I have a client who is working in emotional intelligence, emotional IQ, specifically for kids and teens struggling with suicide. Wow. Which is huge. And they have a card deck. They actually created a whole card game where they're helping families and kids expand their emotional intelligence through play and creativity. And the results that they're having are phenomenal. So I do think books are great because you can get your whole big idea out there. And there's some people that are going to be really suited to wanting to consume that book. But I love what we've discovered today about the interactive, immediate, transformational, action-based value of the power of having that card that can prompt the thought, that can prompt the action. We talk here about transformation happens through implementation. Mm-hmm. And the act of you creating your card deck, right, is a whole implementation act for you to solidify your wisdom and your business and your and then being able to give something like that to a client or potential client is so powerful because it is inspired action and it's guided, right? I didn't say, I want that card. You said, which pile? Right. And the number 4, right? So, wow, super grateful to have you with us and share you with our friends here. You guys, if you're watching and this is speaking to you, if that creative piece can really be rocket fuel for your business, your clarity, your momentum, invisibility, and beyond. And jump into Marcy's class. Let us know if you need anything. You can messenger me on Facebook or tag me in any of these posts, and we'll check back in. And if it's speaking to you, definitely sign up for class because you don't want to be spinning your wheels. There's a lot of opportunity and information out there right now, you guys, and there's a lot of free stuff coming down. So enjoy it, savor it. But ultimately, when something's really speaking to your heart, step in and make the investment to get whatever support you need to make it happen. You cannot create and build your business on other people's marketing, right? So enjoy and savor these tools. Come check out and play with Marcy. I'm a super fan of her work and what she's able to help you do. And whatever you're doing in your business with your creativity, card decks, marketing, video, visibility, don't go it alone. Now is a time more than ever that transformation is afoot. People are hungry for it. It's a really powerful, good time for you to be stepping up and growing your business like a real business, which means you don't go in, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this, right? You really focus. And it's a time where we need to come together and support each other. So invest in your vision and yourself as well. And if Marcy's speaking to you with card decks, I'm sure she'll give you a way to have her help doing it too. I know I will when the time comes for sure. Thank you so much for being here, Marcy. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll look forward to your comments. And we have some more Give Voice to Your Visions coming up in my Power Up Your Presence Facebook group, as well as here on all channels. So stay tuned for more inspiration to help your visibility, build your credibility, and create profitability, which is that full self-expression of your message and your creativity in the world. See you soon. Thanks, Marcy.
Bye.